We're going to reset everything. Thank you for your patience, but welcome to the American Space Museum Stay Curious program. I'm Marquette, and we're so glad you're with us today with a very special friend and his wife, Mr. Jefferson Michaelis from Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Sao Paulo, Brazil.
No L in it, Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo,
Brazil. And your wife Carla's over here. Hi, Carla. We're glad to see you. These are some great friends of our museum for over a decade they're great STEAM educators. He's going to tell us about his Jefferson Michaelis Foundation that is all about promoting STEAM education around the world. Great to have you here. Welcome. Been 2 years.
Yes, you're right. 2 years, and we were expecting only a few months, right? So
right.
Yes, 2 years.
But you're very familiar with America. You have a residence here that you've maintained, and he's got a 2003 Cadillac that getting a little work done on it here because it was sitting around for 2 years.
Exactly.
But tell us a little bit about your relationship with the American Space Museum that goes way back with Karan Conklin.
Oh yes, actually remember our first collaboration was back in 2010. Was amazing because at that time we were bringing few students, especially from Brazil. We bring students from different countries, but mainly Brazil is right now, currently for the past 10 years, a country where we are working the most. So we were working together, bringing students to the museum, and they were just amazed to see so many different memorabilia, things that went to space. So was fantastic. Everything just amazing. So, and our collaboration just kept, growing and growing. And we actually have a lot of different things we do with you guys. So, and we love that. Now we are back here and we hope to foster even more businesses together, inspire even more kids.
Well, you've done a great job of it. I've been involved with some of your STEAM programs, and as has Karan and our staff here. And nothing better than we love seeing is foreign students in here get inspired by our relics here that were
true.
That were just 10 miles over here at at the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral. We love talking about when you're in Brevard County, Jefferson, you're in the delivery room of America's space program.
Yes.
And it has come back stronger than ever. I think you probably noticed in the 2 years what things look a little different, don't they?
Oh, indeed. Actually, when I accepted the transfer from Tampa to the Space Coast area, that was the time that the shuttle program just ended. And I remember people telling us, are you guys crazy? You're going to a place where nothing is happening? And we always told our friends and co-workers and colleagues, no, we are going to move into the place of the future. The space program is going to be better and stronger. We had this vision. We always knew that the U.S. is going to reinvented the space program. And now we have the new space companies, commercial companies. Actually, one of them.
You're involved with one of them, Via Space. We're going to talk about here as we have a wonderful conversation with Jefferson Michaelis. He's the director of the Michaelis Foundation for Global Education in Brazil. And you're reading that on the bottom. Thank you, Jessica Galloway, our Trekkie techie that I called up about 15 minutes ago to put that banner on there for us there. And hectic day here. We've got a lot going on in our museum, and things are ramping up. And we are in our studio that used to be the Hubble Gallery. And if you look at Facebook, I got a picture of you, Jefferson, holding up our Stay Curious banner. Outside the doorway here. Marty Winkle, my co-producer for 590 episodes of Stay Curious.
Wow.
We've been doing this for 2 years, Jefferson. And so some of it is getting easier because we're repeating space history like we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. Let's talk about a little bit of space history right now.
Okay.
And the first on our plate is, there's our Brazilian flag. Let's tell us a little bit about the Brazilian flag and the constellations of it.
Oh boy, are you sure you want to ask me this question?
Yeah, I'm an astronomer. I love stars on flags.
So you have to tell me more because I'm not so familiar with that as you are.
Well, I note they have the, I'm not sure what patterns they have there. It looks like they have the Southern Cross is right there in the middle.
Correct.
That's the triangle there. in the middle. So progress and order, is
Yes,
that what?
exactly.
And
Yes.
the native language of Brazil is
Portuguese.
Portuguese. Okay, and and do people also speak Spanish?
Actually, some of
A
them
lot of people.
borders with other countries and other parts of Brazil, but English is really becoming the second language in Brazil, which is a great blessing. So yeah, Portuguese, English, and some parts of Brazil close to our Latin American neighbors, yeah, they do speak some Spanish with Portuguese. They call the Portunhol. Yes,
Portugal. Well, Brazil's a huge country.
that's true.
I'm not sure the population. What's its?
225 million
Ooh,
people.
just a little bit under America then.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. And I've yet to meet a Brazilian I didn't like. Okay. And here's one of them we're going to talk about in a minute here. But let's do a little space history.
Okay.
And on this date, Jet Propulsion Lab was founded on June 1st, 1937. And what do you think about when you see JPL
Technology, innovation, and the rovers.
and the rovers?
Yes,
How about the Big Bang Theory
that's
TV
true.
sitcom?
The TV
They're,
set.
those nerds are based at Jet Propulsion Lab.
That's true. California.
Yeah, in California. A group of Caltech rocket students who formed a research project on June 1st, 1937, sprung from NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab, the Nerve Center for Interplanetary Spacecraft, and the setting for the popular TV sitcom The Big Bang Theory. And it's actually not in Pasadena, California, as media mostly reports. It is in the town of La Canada, Flint Ridge, California. We're going to see a picture of that in just a second, but I accidentally put a picture of this popular Brazilian man. He probably hasn't bought a meal in 10 years since his space flight. This is, of course, is Marcus Pontus
Yes.
with Bruce Melnick, who is the astronaut coordinator at Kennedy Visitors Complex. I got to meet Mr. Pontus the other day, last week. What an impressionable man, and what a hero he is for your country.
Oh, is indeed. He is our first and only astronaut and a gentleman, a person who is always willing to go an extra mile. He is inspiring a lot of kids to pursue space careers. So yes, he is an ambassador for the space program, indeed.
After he was astronaut, he was the Secretary of Education, and then the Minister. Yeah, we call him Minister.
Ministry of Science and Technology.
Yes,
Yes.
and innovation. You have on that
Innovation,
too.
yes.
I like that. They call it science, technology, and innovation.
Yes, correct.
And we celebrate innovation. That's what we want to inspire, is the next generation to invent things, just like you and your STEAM programs that we're going to talk about.
And talking about inspiring kids, I think Carla, let me see. Yes, I'm going to show you something that's
Sure.
super cool. We have here some very cool space postcards.
Did you zoom in on those a little bit, Marty? We haven't
This-
done much zooming, but
Ba-
I'll
don't
put
worry,
Marty to
this
work
is-
on that. Yeah,
We actually brought from Brazil about 2,000 space postcards, and these postcards are going to fly probably very soon on the Blue Origin's rocket.
show the other side too there.
Yeah,
Oh, these
so
are cool.
these
Look
are
at the
super
artwork
cool.
these kids have done.
Yeah, so each different postcard is actually from a different kid in Brazil. So these postcards are coming from all over Brazil, Mark. And look at this. This
Oh.
is inspiration. And for
Great
99% of those kids, this is the first contact they're going to have with space.
Right. How
So-
old are these children?
Oh, we have anywhere from 7 to 27 years old, but most of them are around, I would say, high school age
Okay.
or younger. Yes, so
You're hoping to fly those on what mission?
that's the $1 million question.
Okay.
We are on the waiting list, so very soon, and I want to invite you to join us. We are going to the Blue Origins office here
Right.
in Merritt Island,
Uh-huh.
and we're going to actually hand this
Oh,
space
wow.
postcards. So they will send to Texas.
Right.
And the
do the
postcards.
suborbital flight.
Yes. So you want to join me and bring this
Absolutely.
to Blue Origin?
Absolutely. Sure we do.
Wonderful.
Well, we'd love to get some kids signed up for that ourselves.
This is
Blue
cool.
Origin does have a campaign for students to send their cards up there.
Yes. So and this is nice because this is what we talk about innovation and inspiration, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
And this can actually be very inspiring for kids. And not just that, we are returning all these postcards to Brazil.
Awesome. That's good. They got their
Here we
address
got the
on there.
addresses
To
and
go back to
everything
them
here.
and space flown.
Yep.
And they'll put it on their wall or their locker
Exactly.
or something and
Yep.
say, I've got this and you don't. This actually went to the edge of Earth and back.
Yeah. So see, this is with the Brazilian flag. This is so cool. Wow. See, there is so many different.
Well, I'll take a picture of those. We'll share that on Facebook. And,
Yes.
And,
Look at this, Mark. Hello, my name is Moon. I am very happy to know that my postcard will be flying to space.
All right.
That's so nice.
That is nice. And then
Yes.
they'll get that back. So
Yes.
that's many ways that the new, we call it the rocket renaissance, is
Yes.
inspiring the next generation. And we're on board with that, just like you are, Jefferson. We wanted to show you back to a little, we got off segue there. This is Jet Propulsion Lab in Pasadena, but it's not Pasadena. It's La Canada, Flint Ridge,
Wow.
California. The laboratory's primary function is construction of planetary robotic spacecraft. They, ironically, one of the founders' names was John Parsons, which the comedy star of the Big Bang Theory, where they're working at Jet Propulsion Lab, is Jim Parsons, is the actor who plays the neurotic genius Sheldon Cooper. So anyway, we're looking at the history of Jet Propulsion Lab, and I think it's cool that they put this ad out in the 1970s. When you were a kid, science fiction gave you a sense of wonder. Now you feel the same just by going to work, being an engineer at Jet Propulsion Lab.
Wow.
Isn't that neat? And there's a Jet Propulsion Lab guy there. And of course, we think about, like you did, the rovers. There's the little Sojourner, the size of a small microwave there that melted down the internet in 1995 when it landed on Mars. And then there you've got Opportunity or Surveyor. That's the size of like a golf cart.
Yep.
And then the big SUV size Curiosity was first, and then we have Perseverance on Mars right now. So so the two big ones are just clone those. So we've got those 5 vehicles on the surface of Mars. 2 of them are working, and 3 of them, of course, have lasted longer than they were guaranteed to last.
That's
Isn't that
true.
cool?
You're right. Yes.
And one other space history thing we've got to talk about today, we'll talk about more in a couple days, is Gemini 9, the target for docking was launched June 1st, 1966, called the Atlas Augmented Target Docking Adapter. Didn't have a propulsion system on it. Once it got up there, though, they had problems where the shroud did not separate. And when the Gemini 9 astronauts, Tom Stafford and Gene Cernan, got up there, they couldn't dock with it. And they were not going to risk going out there and cutting that band that didn't come off. And somebody got wrote up for that, I'd say, Marty, because I was trying to research and call a few people today exactly what happened there. But I know it was human error that something wasn't removed or that allowed that band to lock the docking adapter. And they call it the Angry Alligator, a famous moment in space history on June 1st, 1966 on Gemini 9. And we'll talk more about Gemini 9 on Friday. We'll wedge that in with Tales from Triple T, our lead of the crews that put the astronauts in. He talks every Friday. And tomorrow we're going to kick off our space shuttles of June with the one and only voice of NASA, Mr. Hugh Harris. So you want to catch Mr. Hugh Harris.
That's super cool.
Yeah, talk to him today. Hugh's 89 years old, and we have him on once a month to talk about the the month of shuttle launches that has become
Okay.
a thing here at Stay Curious. So stay curious about that tomorrow. But let's get back to Brazil and all the wonderful things that you've been doing. And here is the Brazilian Space Agency. Uh, uh, Americans think that's backwards to say Agency Space Brazil, but that's how you all roll.
Yes,
I
yes,
guess, right?
correct. Yes, correct.
Have you ever been in that through the doors of that
Oh,
building,
yes,
Jefferson?
twice actually.
Twice.
Yes, and very
This is
pleased.
in São Paulo.
Brasilia,
Oh,
the
Brasilia.
capital. Yes, and I'm very happy to share with you that last time we went there, we went actually accompanied by an American delegation, and it was fantastic because Brazil and the US are collaborating so much now on the space program, especially the new space program. And the folks at the Brazilian Space Agency, they are top notch. Very nice people, very, very cool. And I have to say big thank you to the Brazilian Space Agency because they are one of our biggest supporters of Science Days.
Okay.
So I'm very happy to share that with you, Mark, and all the.
And tell us what Science Days are for Brazil.
Oh, Science Days is our great inspiration, is our legacy. Science Days is where we have a chance to share everything we learned and everything we know and everything we believe is going to be about STEM and space. So Science Days is a free event where we have a lot of support, and I have to say thanks to the U.S. Department of Commerce, the U.S. Embassy in Brazil, and the consulate, the U.S. consulates in Brazil. Now we are working in collaboration with them. They are working with us to promote even more the STEM and space careers and education throughout Brazil. So Science Days is inspiring a lot of kids really to understand what this new space is all about. We talk with the kids and we present kids a lot of innovation from the US, a lot of the things that's happening in the US. And we are able to do that in an environment where we can actually see the poor kid, the rich kid, and everybody is under the same roof. It's a very democratic event and is considered now to be one of the largest U.S. STEM space events in Brazil.
What time of the year do they do it, or multiple times?
Every year is between March and April, and second semester in September. And actually, we are going to be back in Brazil in September. We are going to have the second edition of Science Days in September.
Great.
Yes.
You said you're going to bring some students here in late September, huh?
You're right, yes. The last week of September, we have the program called International Journey of Science and Technology. And this is the program where we actually join forces with you guys. We teach some classes together. And yes, we are going to have this year about 97 very talented students from Brazil.
Awesome.
Yes, coming here to the Space Coast area to learn and to understand more about STEM and space. And this is something I call unique because that's the only time probably in their lives they have a chance to meet the real people working on the space project. So this is something we are very blessed to have.
Let alone come to America and see the Space Coast for with all its glory. You're going to be out at the Astronaut Memorial Foundation like you have been before, and
yes.
So you're going to want me to reserve a date to cook a comet up for you out there?
Yes, of course. Actually, the kids from Rio de Janeiro are returning again.
Oh, okay.
The Kids Space Explorers, November 14th and 15th. We are going to have the group coming again.
Awesome.
And I can tell you guys, Mark class and program is amazing. The kids, they love that. Yes, so please mark on our calendar.
Well,
Yes,
good.
yes.
I make a comet out of dry ice. And,
yes.
that's my science parlor trick. And,
It's super
but to
cool.
emphasize that we're going to the moon because there's water in the South Pole. Where's the water come from? Comets. Comets have seeded this solar system with water and so forth. So that's awesome. Look, did you look behind us here and see the beautiful night scene of South America there? Kind of our thing there, and our green screen here, and where right at the top where American is where the launch pads are, and we're going to check that out here in just a minute. let's carry on there. You were here. Want to tell you, I pulled out some old pictures. Tell us, you're over there at the Mercury Monument. This is
Yes.
September 2020, before I guess that's 2019 actually.
2019,
Yeah.
you're right. Yes, I remember that day. Yes, that
And
was.
there's your wife Carla there, and
Hmm.
another lady there that we're going to see another picture of her.
Yeah,
There.
Sky Schwartz. Yes, yes.
What
Yeah.
was going on here that you all were doing
Oh, yeah, that was
on our Apollo
something
monument?
we were putting together at that time, actually related to Science Days, because our vision is as follows. We have a certain number of kids we can bring here to the US. It's not that many. We
Mm-hmm.
have like a cap on how many kids we can bring here. And our vision is always how can we reach more? And that's something we are still working on it, where we want to provide kids all over the globe a chance to understand what the new space program is. So that is something we're still working on it, and it's super cool. It's going to be content that we're going to provide pretty much free of charge, where kids can learn a little bit more space, like what we're doing now.
Absolutely.
And thanks to Sky and all the folks like you, we're able to keep improving this particular project.
Well, and we love our partnership with Jefferson Michaelis here, Karan, Conklin, him, just a great reunion. Like I said, with all of us here, we missed you guys. We also miss our Japan, Florida
That's
group
true.
that are here, and we're in touch back with them, and they're going to be coming back. They would bring 30 to 40 high school students here 3 or 4
Wow,
times a year.
that's so
Yeah,
wonderful. Yeah,
and
because most people they don't know, but Japan and Florida for many years, and you guys here are doing an extremely wonderful job in providing very good and important up-to-date information about space here at the
absolutely.
museum. So
Yeah.
yes.
And Japan, a great partner
Mm-hmm.
with the Europeans, ESA, and our International Space Station. Here's another fun throwback picture
Yep.
of your crew there. You're on the far left,
Yep.
and Carla's in the white pants there. And these gentlemen and lady were here for what reason? Last
They were
2 years?
trying to understand what the space program is. They actually wanted to know the museum as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
We're proud of our Artemis astronaut there,
Yep.
spacesuit. That's
Yep.
actually a functional spacesuit that Gary Harris made in his own home. He's
Wow.
a spacesuit designer, comes from, I think, North Dakota universities, where
Hmm.
could be South Dakota. One of them is where there's a school for spacesuit technology.
Wow.
And he actually built this, and we're glad to still have it here for you to see it again. Here is the whoa, that's pretty big there. Better get that smaller there. You can't see it so much there. That is the Brazil, their official
The
logo.
official logo,
And
yes.
to tie in there some of the how this all ties in together with this chart here, we're looking at uh, the different areas that the Brazilian Space Agency reaches: industry, business. You've got astronomy, learning crews. Uh, Everything's involved in your country with that, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct,
Anything
yes.
to jump out at you there?
Well, we know that about INPE, which is the Institute of, they are doing super well right now
That's
and
the
working. Yeah,
Institute
they do
for,
research, a lot of
okay.
research, and they have some very interesting projects going on right now. They are based in the city of São José dos Campos, one of the cities where we hold Science Days.
Okay.
So that's very interesting. They have their own academy, which they provide a lot of good content for students who want to learn more about space. And the other areas are more related to the military, which I'm not very familiar with right
Mm-hmm.
now in Brazil. But yes, and also they are right now working with more industries in Brazil.
All right. And through this in here, this is the launch
Oh,
sites,
yeah,
launch centers there.
yes,
There's
yes.
Brazil is the far right, all that area there of South America.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have two basic launch sites. They're very close to the equator. Does the
Yes.
equator run through the top of
Yes,
South
just three
America?
degrees. So pretty much, according to experts, the Alcantara base is considered right now according to the experts on space and launch and trajectory, the best place to launch rockets is the
Okay.
Alcantara base. So, but
And
again,
ESA's launching from
Guyana.
Guyana,
Yes, correct.
just a
Yes,
little bit north of there.
just a little, exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
But
So Brazil, the way I understand, last time we had a meeting with the Brazilian Space Agency, they are super happy to have new agreements with the United States. And we have right now, if not mistaken, 3 U.S. companies that are going to be granted the license to actually launch rockets from Alcantara.
well, that's a nice segue because
Yes.
here's one of them.
Of-
Our friends, Via Space. This is our hometown space company. They're headquartered
Yeah.
in Cocoa Village. You've been to Cocoa
Oh,
Village.
yes, several
They're
times.
they're like catty corner across the street from where the theater
Mm-hmm.
is where their offices are, and they are launching 3D printed fueled rockets on 3D printed engines, and we've got two 5,000-pound payload fueled rockets
here.
in our conference room that they gave us. And they're doing well. They did a good suborbital test, I understand, over a month ago. But they are very important to the Brazilian space. And do you know the number of employees and so forth about that? Tell us about that.
Well,
They're building a facility there, and you know about it. So
yeah, I'm
share.
I'm very glad to have Vice Space as one of the main supporters of Science Days. We have been working with VIA for the past 5 years when they were rocket crafters in the beginning.
That's right. They're
Very
called
interesting.
Rocket Crafters. About a year and a half ago, they changed their name to Via, which because of the astronaut that's involved, Sid Gutierrez. Via Condidos
Yes, exactly.
is what they
Yeah,
said to him on his launches, which is
yeah,
a
correct.
way.
Vai com Deus in
Yeah.
Portuguese. You're right.
And so, not that I know Portuguese. That's
Oh,
a
you're
compliment.
learning.
Around you, I'll learn a little bit. But yeah, Sid's still involved with them, a great astronaut, and they got a great crew there. The nephew of astronaut John Fabian, Rob Fabian's the
Mhm.
president.
You-
You met Rob, I know.
Rob, Sean, Jack Blood, and
Yeah.
they now have a vice president of Latin American operations in Brazil, which is a super nice guy. So, and again,
They're going to employ about 400 people, right?
that's what their plans are. And it's so funny because, again, when we started Science Days back 7 years ago, Mark, and we were in Brazil telling kids that, in the future, you are going to see U.S. space companies opening operations in Brazil, and some of you guys and girls are going to be working for these companies. Folks are like, okay, no, this is blah, blah, blah. And now Via is one of the American companies that's actually just 2 weeks ago signed an agreement to open a manufacturing plant very close to the city of São José dos Campos. And Darkton Damião, the person that Via Space sent to Brazil, who was part of Science Days, is going to be leading this whole new development. And I believe at least 200 people will be hired, which is fantastic.
That is fantastic.
And not just Brazilians. This is what we always tell our students, Mark. This is a Brazilian American corporation. That's the beauty. So Brazil and the US working together and providing what? International collaboration. Because the space is about collaboration. That's what we are doing for 10 years here, collaboration. So Via, thank you so much for being part of the Space Museum and also Science Days. We are glad to have you on board.
And they're going to be supporting us. We've had a few of their people on here at a time or two, and then we're going to get several of their young engineers in here. They're brilliant. It's amazing to be around them, and they want to help our museum. They've been so focused on getting this Brazilian thing going that they haven't had much time with their people here in the Space Coast. They're either here or in New Mexico with their tests on there. So things seem to be going well with them, and I do know they are an important part of that economy. We're so glad that you're joining us here on Stay Curious. Marty's getting my list here of our people that are watching today. Hi, Robert Law is enjoying a cocktail probably, or maybe he's just got some warm milk to go to bed up there he's in Dundee, Scotland. All
Wow,
right.
Scotland.
Yes, Scotland, and
Hello,
we have some
Scotland.
friends in New Zealand and
New
Australia that are
Zealand.
enjoying their brekkie. Yes, there. Cliff
Okay.
Watson. Hi, Cliff. Thank you. He's in Sonoma, Australia.
Australia,
Yep,
how are you?
there you go.
Okay.
Uh, uh,
Hello,
uh,
mate.
and we've got Dave Stange is in Michigan. He's an A
Michigan.
plus follower of us, as is Keith Sewell, who's an astronomy teacher, one of the local colleges here. Hi, Mark Usiak. He's going to be coming down here for the Astronaut Hall of Fame
Wow.
going on next weekend. But stay up there and keep the bad weather up there, Mark. Okay, don't bring it down to us. But he's a launch photographer with his brother Tom that have really, you watch Stay Curious, and you're going to see their photos, and we talk about them
Nice.
a lot. Great partners of our museum. We've got Joshua Carlos Mascafibo is what Marty's got there. Vivian Ferrandes. These might be some of your friends watching.
Oh, nice.
Hey,
Vivi.
Carlton Bailey.
Hello.
Yeah, Vivian there. Janie Rich. Margot Watson. Hi, Margot. She's one of our regular Stay Curious watchers. Pamela Shivik is one of my Buckeye friends. She went to a rival high school, Lorraine,
Oh.
Admiral King, and I went to Findlay Trojans. And she and her husband are great outreach people with the Association of Lunar and Planetary Observers, ALPO.
Wow.
And they're big steam. Pamela Shivik, thank you for all you do for kids. We'll hook you up here with Jefferson because I think you guys could probably do some things together. Carla Kristen, and of course Larry Pushkar is up there in Michigan. And this is the time to be in Michigan, folks. Beautiful May, June, July, and August, and then the big dark cloud sets over from Lake Erie and all that stuff on there. I'm just kidding. It's a great state, and these are some great people that are following us here. Thank you, Marty, for giving me that shout out list there. We're gonna skip through a couple little. This was just to show you that Washington has built a bridge. There was some controversy 4 or 5 years ago with our government not wanting to give military secrets to any country, not just Brazil.
Yes, right.
And,
yes.
and that's all been ironed out. But interestingly, you're involved with America, Canada, Japan, even China and Russia, of course, Germany, Italy, and the other European country there. What's that on the far right? In Argentina.
Argentina. Yeah, that's true.
Well, so tell us a little bit about your partners that around the world as far as your STEAM education is. And y'all don't think that some of these countries, you just think America, China, and Russia are in the space program. But no, we've got even Nigeria's got rockets, Israel, Iran, and so forth. Brazil in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's one of the launch pad sites.
Contra, you're right, yes.
And here's I don't know if that's the same launch pad showing you the ocean nearby.
Yes, correct, yes.
In there. So that's a beautiful scene there.
It is.
So just talk a minute about these other countries coming in partnership. How do you get your STEAM programs in with them?
Oh, thank you. Yes, we have a great alliance with Austria, with ESA in Austria as well. Martin Musler in Austria, thank you so much for opening this huge door for us. So we have a very nice partnership with them. We are starting now expanding to Portugal, especially we speak Portuguese, so that helps tremendously. We are planning a trip to Portugal probably next winter or fall. So we are trying to see if that gets, confirmed. Was confirmed in 2020, but
yeah, right.
Exactly. So we are now, trying to revive a lot of projects. We work a lot with Israel as well. So Israel is one of our main partners. We learn a lot with Israel actually. Let's say that they have lots of things in common with us in the US and in Brazil. We work with folks in Colombia, an amazing country to work with, I can tell you. We have a very pleasant experience working in alliance with the Colombian partners. We used to work with Norway and Japan as well. So we are very blessed to have this different partnerships in different places. And most of the times what we do, we invite our partners to join us during science days, most of the time in Brazil. So even our partner in Austria, he traveled to Brazil to be part of science days. And that's what we want to do with you guys at the museum, keep having you guys promoting what you are doing here in the Space Coast area, which I can tell you, viewers, is amazing. What the museum is doing here is something that very rare you are going to find anywhere you go in the world. So I can tell you,
Well, thank
every
you,
time
Jefferson.
this
That means
is
a lot to Karan Conklin, our leader, who's been involved with this museum almost 20 years, and our leader for 4 as executive director. And that means a lot because we really value our partnerships with people like you. We never know who we're going to inspire, right?
That's
to do
true.
great things. Look at the people's stories of where they came from and how they what turned that corner for them to learn a science or want to be an astronaut or be a suit tech or so many jobs, and all of space industry needs every job from janitors actually are probably one of the most important because everything's got to be super clean, right,
Yes.
Michaelis?
Yes.
Yeah. And we're talking to Jefferson Michaelis, director of a foundation that, how long have you had your foundation?
Well, we revived the foundation in 2016, but that goes back to 1896
Really?
when the first bilingual dictionary was published by 2 women in Portugal,
Huh.
Carolina and Henriette Michaelis. Actually, they actually started our legacy in 1896. They actually broke a lot of paradigms for women. And our family, Carolina, was the first female professor ever in Portugal
Hmm.
to be allowed to teach. So again, the foundation, we revived that here in the US in 2016, but the roots go back to
Well,
1896.
how'd you get involved in it? You look like you're not that old.
Why not? But yeah. So Michaelis is something that the Michaelis family or our family, we were always involved with education,
Okay.
always involved with trying.
So the Brazilians would know the Michaelis name like we know uh, Forbes or
Probably,
Carnegie or
yes,
something like
correct.
that
Yes,
in there.
yes, yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, thanks to the dictionary. And if you go back just a few years ago, the only way people had to learn a different language was one, going to English classes, or two, going to the library and trying to get a book. And that was the Michaelis Dictionary.
Hmm.
So thanks to our, family members, Carolina and Henriette, back in 1896,
Wow.
they started, and we decided to revive that.
It's a
So
130, 125-year
yes,
legacy
yes,
there.
correct,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So and that's the beauty about the Michaelis Foundation. The Michaelis Foundation is in here right now, not just to provide the bilingual education, but we want to catch up with the new trend, which is STEM and space. We want to have Carolina and Henriette's story inspiring other girls, other people
Mm-hmm.
to achieve what they think might be the impossible. Nothing is impossible.
Nothing's impossible. We love inspiring kids like that. Gee,
Yes.
Jeff, I thought that you won the Brazilian lottery and just needed a foundation to give away. We hadn't sat down and talked about the depth of your family background in that. So that's my ignorance, but I'm glad that we
No,
got it out there to stay curious with everybody
we're
there. So
always learning.
that's right.
That's
That's
the
right.
beauty of life.
Well, when we're together, we're always talking space and stuff like that, and kids and involved with stuff. And we're, like I said, we're thrilled to see you and Carla back here on the Space Coast and become part of our extended family at the American Space Museum. Wanted to whiz through a couple. I wanted to show this picture here. Oh, I guess that didn't show up then. Marty. I was looking for the flag. Okay. I printed out but didn't. That's Hugh Harris, the voice of NASA, who's going to be here tomorrow to kick off our Shuttles of June. And one of the most important missions of June is the STS-7 of Sally Ride, America's
Whoa.
first woman to go to space. You've seen Sally's handprints there in our
Yeah.
women's gallery. They're just about as worn as Neil Armstrong's are. A lot of people have putting their hands on hers. Of course, she passed away 10 years ago of cancer. And Hugh is going to tell us about all the publicity he handled around that important Sally Ride's mission to space in 1985, I believe, and some other missions there. So you want to join us on Stay Curious with Hugh Harris. And we're so glad to have our favorite Brazilians here. Of course, Marcus Pontius is a close second, astronaut there to you guys. But again, here is Marcus Pontius. And just tell us a little bit about what he's done. Again, to reiterate that it takes a focal point, doesn't it? A person to ignite people's thinking and thoughts. And this gentleman certainly shown there with Bruce Melnick, certainly done that. I know you've met him many times.
Yeah, Marcos actually is a real inspiration for lots of people, including us. The story of his life is fantastic. I know
born out of poverty
exactly.
too. Yeah,
and
I got his book. I'm reading his book.
Perfect.
It's a very interesting book. It
Yes.
really is. He gives it's a good astronaut book, and it's called Mission Accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm enjoying digging into that. He really gives a global picture
Mm-hmm.
like I've not read from other American astronauts. Of course, I mean that's good, but
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I remember the most and is always in my mind is something that Marcos told me once. Actually told not just me, Carla. She was with me when Marcos says, when you think everything is okay in your life, just stop and think again, because there's always a challenge. And I learned that with the coronavirus. We thought everything was super okay, foundation doing super well, everything going super well. And then we had to pause everything.
mm-hmm.
We thought it was going to be for a month, 3 months, 5 months. And we were just pausing and waiting for 2 years. And I remember Marcos always telling us, never stop, always keep learning, keep doing something, and keep trying to be something that you can inspire other people. So again, Marcos Pontes, it's a very genuine person who did a lot of positive things, especially for children, not just in Brazil, even in the US, because he's always coming back here
mm-hmm.
at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Actually, he was just here
last
week.
Yeah, that's where I met him.
Yeah.
And Bruce and I had a great conversation, and the lunar competition among colleges was going on. So he got to see these college students building machines to harvest lunar regolith, the soil, and all that sort of stuff. And he just had a big smile on his face.
He's always like this, believe me. Marcos is a person, every time you meet him, he's always positive, he's always friendly. And again, for us, it was and it still is a great inspiration because he keeps moving, he keeps going. And
he wanted to come to the museum, and it just didn't work out. We were going to do an after hours type thing, and he said he'd love to come back and see it and all. You
Marcos,
think he'd be inspired by our museum?
He did, of course.
Yeah.
Again, what you guys have in here under this roof is just something people cannot imagine. A lot of real space stuff over here.
One of a kind stuff, like the component that failed on Gemini 8 and almost put him in a spin to almost kill Neil Armstrong and David Scott. And in our shuttle workers gallery, we have a black box, so to speak.
That's true.
That was either the voice or engine data was put on the shuttle flown to space, and just so many one of a kind items. And I talk about all the time, we've got things that the provenance of everything in here. It's just not a cool looking shuttle gallery with the models and stuff. Those models were built 50 years ago to show the Nixon administration what they were talking about when they went for $5.5 billion to build the shuttle 50 years ago. So thank you so much, Jefferson, for being here, and great to see you. This is a man that I've actually called you in Brazil a couple times.
Yes.
He's come on my mind, and I said I'm going to give him a call and see how he's getting through this pandemic. And that's how much you mean to our museum here. Jefferson, is there anything that you'd like to tell our Stay Curious watchers that we haven't covered?
I would like to say something that for me is very important. Sometimes there is one person that can change your life and make it much better. And I'm very humble and pleased to say here live today that I'm very thankful for Mindy Herzog. She works at the U.S. Department of Commerce in Orlando. And thanks to her, Science Days was memorable. So thank you so much,
Mindy.
Mindy, thank you, because she is supporting, and Science Days was an amazing experience for thousands and thousands of kids. So I'm very thankful for the U.S. government, U.S. Department of Commerce, for just working with us, collaborating with us, because that's the only way we can inspire more kids to understand that we want to work together. So again, if she's watching us or not, I want to be very humble and say thank you for trusting us and helping us with Science Days. It was a very memorable, really experience. And again, we were able.
When was that?
March, just recently, yeah. It was a huge event in Brazil, and most people, they were not sure if we are going to have Science Days because of the coronavirus, but we were able to host Science Days in 3 different places in Brazil, and we welcomed more than 8,700 kids. So that was, yes.
Unbelievable.
Yes. 8,700 kids, more than that, actually. And again, this is something I always tell people. There is somebody who is going to help you at the right moment, at the right time. And again, Science Days was revived by people like her who really saw, the potential. And here we are with Mark and all the friends at the museum working again together. And our goal is to inspire 1 million kids globally. And we are going to do that together.
Great. We certainly are, my friend. Look at this beautiful background again. I keep looking at that, Marty. That's one of my favorite backgrounds we've had on a green screen. And it reminds me to go out with Stay Curious with one of our favorite astronauts that supports us is Nicole Stott.
Oh,
Hi,
she
Nicole.
actually autographed the book for us.
Yeah, that's
yes,
right.
Okay.
And Nicole, she has what I call Stott-isms in her book. And one of them is that we're all Earthlings. Looking at this picture just inspires me. We're all Earthlings. All right. We all live on a planet. And the only border that matters is that thin blue line of our atmosphere there, because you don't see any borders in South America there.
Oh.
All right. So, and with that, thank you very much, Jefferson. Thank you, Carla, for being here. Marty, thank you for a great show. And we will see you all tomorrow with Mr. Hugh Scott, the voice of NASA, to talk about shuttles. I said Hugh Scott. Who is Hugh Scott? I'm thinking of Hugh here. There's my great finesse. Thank you. I get it all, and I'll go all rolled up there. And yes, I mess it up. No, we thank you all for being here on Stay Curious, and we'll see you with Mr. Hugh Harris, the voice of NASA, tomorrow to talk about shuttles of June to bridge the space between us.